The price of Bitcoin is looking like it is wanting to top, and the reason why I say that is because this right here looks like a somewhat of a fractal of a bigger structure. So I'll just show that real quick. So you have this move up, right? And then you have this sort of distribution, boom, 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 right? And then you come down. Then you go up in 1, 2, 3. You break the top and you quickly reverse. Now, if I zoom all the way out on the big time frame, that's exactly what sort of happened over here. You can see we went up, we had this distribution, boom, 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 boom. We came down, then we came up in 3, we took out the top right here, and then we quickly come down, right? So obviously it could be what's happening, but when you go back and zoom in here, let's go to the 8-hour chart. Actually, let's go to the 2-hour chart. You could see, it looks a little similar, right? We came up here, boom, 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 boom. We come down, up in 3, then rejected. So it could be that's what's happening, which is a short-term reversal, or better yet, a pullback, right? So a reversal on the 2-hour chart, but when I go to the daily and I take that off, and let's go to the sequential, you can see what started all of this. And you can see what started it was the 9, right? You can see we came all the way up in the daily chart. This 9 right here printed this red dot right there. So now this red dot, this red dot, this red dot is all being printed because of this 9 here. And these red dots are acting as resistance for the price. You could see the current daily candle came up and it hit the red dot and it got rejected, right? So they act as resistance. If in fact the price were to break above the red dots and close above, then the red dots stop printing, right? Then it stops printing. So when you look at the bottom, this 9 not only printed these red dots, but it also printed these green dots you see at the bottom of the screen down here, right? And a lot of what these red dots are is your setup resistance, and these green dots down here is your setup support. So if the price were to reverse, a good indication of where it could lead is down to these green dots. Maybe not all the way down there, but in between the red and the green. So an example would be, let's see. Well, if you look over here, we had a 9, right? We had a 9. It printed the red dots. We're going red dot, red dot, red dot, red dot. And if it wanted to, it could have came down and tested these green dots, but it didn't. What happened? It broke above these red dots here. It broke above it. So then what happened? Then it continued higher, right? And now it printed this red dot. And look what happened here. The 9 called the top again, and it printed all these red dots, and it tried to get above, tried to get above, tried to get above. Got a little bit above here, but it was a fake out, right? And it just couldn't do it. And then what happened? This 9, remember, this is the 9 that started it all, that printed these red dots. You can see it also printed the green dots below here. So you could see here when it failed to get above that first time, engulfing candle, that was a good indicator that's probably not going to get through. But look what happened. It came up again, and then it still failed. So then, right, we came all the way down, and instead of touching the green dots, we had a 9 buy, right? Not a 9 sell, 9 buy. So then we continued to rise, holding these green dots as support, and now we're sitting right here. So if you go to the price. Well, let me actually zoom in first. Let's go to the 30-minute chart. I'll turn that off. We don't really need that on the short time frame. So what could be happening here, right, is a reversal. Well, first, let me just show you here. We hit the 702, right? We hit the 702 retracement. And that's one reason why we could potentially reverse. Again, I've been thinking for the longest time that eventually Bitcoin is going to go into a range, just like how you can see it went up and then it went into a range, the range being right here. So now we broke above the range, and it's likely that we could have another range, right? This range can come all the way down to the bull market support band around 39-40K, or worst case, it can come all the way down to 30K and backtest this range here, which it has not. And I've been thinking that for the longest time, that eventually, most likely, we will come back down to backtest this area. Now, we don't have to. Of course, we don't have to. We can easily pull back, consolidate a little bit, then go and break new all-time high easily. No problem. But statistically, for me, as you know, if you follow my channel, the market likes to go in phases. And to me, the phase that it's in is at the end of its retracement. So obviously, right, you have a bull market, you have a bear market. And the consensus, right, in the bear market, especially when we get down at the bottom of the bear market, is we have to keep going down. So a lot of times, a lot of people put a lot of shorts right in here because they're convinced, like, hey, look at this. The bear market's, right when we broke this, that's when people really believed we were in a bear market. Then we came down to here. But look, the bear market just barely got started. So why would you think that it's going to go back up, right? So when in reality, the bear market started here. But even if it started all the way here to here, it's really not that much. You would suspect something much bigger, right? But what happened was it goes into a retracement. Why? Because nothing goes down in a straight line. So we have a bull market, a bear market, a retracement. Then once we get here, that's when the biggest decisions get made. Are we going to go down? Are we going to go up? Are we going to go sideways? Chances are you go sideways first. Then you decide up or down. To me, it seems like we're going to go sideways for a bit in distribution, then come down, potentially backtesting this area right in here, maybe go sideways a bit, then go on to a new bull run. So that could take another year. That could take until the end of 2025, right? But the good thing about the altcoins, which is why we're all here, is when Bitcoin goes into these events, these distribution events, or in other words, going sideways, right? And when I say sideways, it doesn't feel like it's going sideways because you can go down, let's see here, you can go down 40% and then go sideways, and it'd feel like we're dumping, but it's actually, you can drop 40% and that's still considered going sideways in a range, right? So, you have sideways, you have ranging. To me, it'd be more like ranging, right? So I think we're probably going to start ranging. Now, I hope I'm wrong, right? I would love to see just a little pullback and then a continuation. That'd be great. Breakout, new all-time high, perfect. But if you go back throughout history, that's never happened before. So for example, this one down here, we came down, we went sideways. We broke out, we went sideways again. We broke out, we went sideways again. We broke out when we went a little bit sideways, and then we went off to the races. So there's these moments in time, and look at this. This lasted, what, approximately about 250 days. This one lasted approximately about 180 days, about there, right? This one lasted approximately about 190, about 180, 190 days. That seems to be the theme. Okay, so let's go back up here, and you can see here's the range, the first range right there. We come down, then we have another range, right? And then we're potentially having another range. Okay, so let's say this range lasts about 180 days. So I can start it here. I can start it here. I would probably start it here and say, okay, let's go out to 180. We'll say 190 days, right about there. So that's about June 2024. Let me actually, one moment. Let me actually put a vertical line about right there, about June. I'd say right about there. So we could potentially go sideways for a little while, right? I mean, this one went sideways for about 200 days, right? And it seems like this one here seems like the ranges are actually longer. So if I started right about there, this one took about 260 days. Wow. So to me, if this is 260, right, and this is about the same, about 260 here, 230, right? So if I go back over here, what was this one again? About one. Well, no, actually, this one was again 260 here, and this one was, okay, yeah, this one was the 180. So this one was longer, this one was shorter, and this one was about, this one was shorter, right? So essentially large, medium, small, right? So it was, the ranges were getting smaller. So if that's the trajectory, right? So if that's the trajectory, look what's happening here. It's the same thing, right? So this was what? 270, 280. And then this one was what? About 230, right around that 230 mark. Okay, so that's the same thing. It's getting smaller. So if that's the case, then if this one was 230, I'm not going to do all the math and all that, but you can guess the fact that it's going to be shorter than 230, maybe around 190, 200. So this June, maybe move it over just a hair, right around there, maybe July. So about there. So that's sort of what I'm thinking here, is we're going to go and chop around for a bit. But this is actually a good thing, because either, so here's the big thing. If in fact we go into a bull run like we did here, then we want it to range a long time, right? See how we did all these ranges in here, right? If it starts to range and hold above the bull market support band like it did right here, you can see the price broke and held the bull market support band, then it continued on. If we lose it, then there's a good indication we're probably going into reaccumulation. So for me, the big thing is this. Are we going to break out? So basically, option number one, we go sideways, we break out. Or actually, we go sideways, we come up, we go sideways a little bit again, we continue higher. And that would be the same as back over here. Or are we going to do something like this? And the way you know which one it is how long this thing ranges, right? So now, Obviously, it doesn't have to range. This thing can just, I'm speculating. This thing can keep going and going and going and going. Totally, totally can. And if that happens, hey, I will be so happy to be wrong. But, I got to be level-headed here and conservative, and based off the previous data, speculate that this is what's happening, or something like this. So the difference is this right here. And I'm sure you guys probably already know, but right here. So we can come up, come back down, sideways, break up, sideways, break up, sideways, break up, and then continue higher. Or we have a rise, crash, retrace. We go sideways a little bit, not that much. Then we break down. Then we go sideways. And then we break out. So that would be rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. So which one's it going to be? We have to wait and see. Let's see how the price reacts when we come down and retest. Because to me, look, we broke above the bull market support band, but we never tested it. And when Bitcoin breaks the bull market support band, you can look out throughout history. Look here, we broke above, we tested it before we went higher, right? So look what happened when you don't test it. Look at this. You break above, and you don't test it. You didn't test it here. You didn't test it here. And look what happens. You get this big, long correction with this COVID dump in the middle, or at the tail end, I should say. So look what happens when you do test it. You can see here, we broke above, we came and we tested it. We broke above again, we came and we tested it. And since we tested it and held it, then you break out again, right? Test it again, and then you're off to the races, and you're continuing to test over. So here's one here, here's one here, here's one here, all through here, right? And then once you stop testing it, look what happens. Look at this one, you didn't test it. All up in here. That's when you started getting, straight up. And what comes straight up comes straight back down. Then you come up and you test it as resistance, and then you get knocked back, right? And then you come up again, test it as resistance. It's fighting. It's saying, no, I can't believe it. I lost it. No, it's basically like you're walking in in Alaska on a frozen lake, and you fall through, and the current takes you a couple meters north or south, right? And now you're stuck under the ice, and you can't breathe, right? So then you're done, right? Until you get saved. Trying to have a happy ending there. But so we have a moment in time where we can sort of sit back and relax and think about, or actually just watch and see how this thing is going to develop. Because I couldn't tell you. I can give you, like I said, the options of what's going to happen. But until we rule one out, both are on the table. Right. So I would love for this thing to go sideways like this and then continue higher, just like how it happened over here. If it doesn't do that, then what's going to happen is I'll get rid of that. I'll make this shorter like this, or maybe a little longer, like maybe right there. And then I'll say, okay, we're probably going to come down, come back up, come down, come back up, come down, come back up, and then start to break down, and then come down like this, right? And then start to get the heck out of there, right? So what I'm saying here is, for the altcoins, because that's what matters, during this time, that's the golden opportunity for alts to catch up. So it's kind of like we're under the clock here. we need to have these alts start to move. And luckily for the alts, it doesn't take that long for them to start getting going, right? There will be pullbacks along the way. Look at H bar. Look at H bar. H bar finally officially broke out, right? We have actually on the daily chart, let me go here to let's go to the 2-day chart here. So on the 2-day chart, we did break out. But it's the 2-day chart. It's significant, right? Definitely. But what I would love to see is the weekly chart breakout. And we have not done that yet because the week isn't over. So Sunday evening, we should see, hopefully, this candle stay above about, what is that? About 0.0906, right around there. And right now it's at 0.108. So it's pretty high compared to where it is. So, you know, and I've been calling for this ever since H bar back tested successfully the bull market support band. It obviously, right, you had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, right? Then you had this impulse, this 3-wave correction. You had a 1, 2, and then you had another 1, 2, and that 1, 2 broke above the bull market support band, back tested it, which then allowed this candle here to break above all of this resistance. So that's pretty significant. And when did it happen? When did this guy break out? It broke out as Bitcoin was where? In its range, potential distribution range or accumulation range, right? It broke out as Bitcoin is sort of, potentially topping here, especially at the 702 retracement level. So that's pretty significant. Now, if Chainlink did it, if H bar is starting to hopefully get the job finished, then maybe XRP, right? We can start to see XRP breakout. And where is its breakout? And then also, if you look at XRP, right, you can see this fractal I still have here. So if I zoom in on the fractal, basically we have this move to the upside, right? We have that one wave. We're getting 2. Maybe 2 is a little longer, right? Because fractals are never perfect, right? There's always time differences and variations. But the main thing is if we get a big pump to the upside, it could be pretty significant. I swear, every time I record a video now, somebody's ringing the doorbell. Okay, so if I remove this fractal, what do I want to see from it? I'm going to get to Theta. And I'm going to get maybe a couple others. I'm going to kind of do a rapid fire here. So for XRP, this was the range right here. Actually, let me do it like this. This was the range right here, right? And we broke above the range. Great, we broke above. But the problem was the XRP chart got screwed up. And it got screwed up because the XRP security ruling. XRP is not a security. Judge Torres, the ruling, right? And everybody at that time, that day, was jumping up and down. But little did they know, fast forward to today, it totally screwed up the chart. I kind of was hoping, now that in hindsight, I was like, well, kind of wish that never happened, honestly. I sort of hope that Judge Torres made her decision, within starting now, right? So, for example, the XRP chart, right? We came up like this. We came down. Judge Torres never made her decision. We come back down. Then we started circling back up, right? Then we broke out. And now we're back testing. That is what I think was supposed to happen with XRP. And what is that, my friends? That is Wyckoff accumulation. So we have that move there. We have our spring phase right in here, right? And then we have that impulse, and now we're sort of consolidating before the big breakout. But the issue here is, and I think this maybe was by design. The conspiracy part of me says this is probably by design. They did this sort of trash right here. So now that when you have these expert TA guys and these guys that, you know, say, oh, XRP is trash, and, you know, for fundamental reasons or mostly technical reasons, the chart looks terrible, right? As some of them say. I don't think it does, but they say it looks terrible. I don't want nothing to do with it, right? And I get it, right? I mean, look at this. We're just kind of going sideways with an upward drift for the longest time, and you know, it doesn't look constructive and orderly like Theta. Like, look at Theta. So, like, you can see Theta, it has a clear resistance line right here, clear. It also has this sort of Wyckoff accumulation. It's a waning it's a waning accumulation, right? But it's still Wyckoff, and you know, we haven't broken above this resistance yet. So it looks more straightforward. It looks more orderly, right? You have these clear waves. You have this bottom here. You have this impulse. You have this back test, and now it's attempting to break out. And it's so clear as day. And then also you have an inverse, a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. It looks perfect. It looks like, hey, this is right on target here. But then you look at XRP, and it looks like, what the heck is going on here? You have this move up, move down, right? Then all the way up, then back down, right? You broke above the resistance. Then you come back below the resistance. Then you break above the resistance again. Then you break back below it. Now it's trying to break it. See, it's like, what's happening? So when people see that, what do? They get discouraged. They don't want nothing to do with it. And maybe that's by design. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Um, who knows? But it's not going to make me sell my XRP. I'm holding XRP for fundamental reasons, and for technical reasons as well. Because this, to me, what did that say? When will the high stakes Ripple versus SEC lawsuit end? Crypto expert settlement in April. Ripple. And that's another thing too. I'm going to give you, I don't want this to be an XRP video, but if you don't own XRP, I get it. If you don't like it, I understand. But here's the thing. The reason why I own it is because it has completed, in my opinion, the phases that I stand by. Because my strategy is screaming, hey, this chart looks unbelievably finished. And what do I mean by that? Well, because it completed all my phases. And not only that, it's the biggest phase, it's the biggest cycle in history. So you have a finished bull market, a finished bear market, right? You have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. And what comes next? The blast off. So that's usually what happens in crypto, right? And I've pointed to many examples, and it's the same thing here, right? You have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. So the same thing, right, with Bitcoin back when it was over here. Same thing. You have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, we're probably doing this with Bitcoin again, unless it turns into a longer range and we continue to break out like we did back in 2015, 2016, 2017. So there's two ways it can go down. Something like this, or something like this, or maybe a little mixture of both, right? So to me, right, that's why I'm holding XRP, is because if you look at XRP here, if I just quickly put it side by side, you can kind of see where I'm going with this, right? So and here's the big thing too, is also this cycle that Bitcoin has done is a cycle ahead of this, right? So, and to me, well, provenly, this thing has been 6 years of going sideways, not breaking an all-time high. Now, to a lot of people, that says that is terrible. I don't want nothing to do with that. It's torture, right? And I agree. But sometimes the best rewards are given to those who go through the strongest battles, right? Um, and there's no question that XRP has been going sideways longer than any coin on planet Earth because of how long it's been basically in a range. But what I think is happening more so in the range, right, is kind of like what I think is happening with potentially what Bitcoin's going to do, which is a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, right? And when I say sideways, I mean reaccumulation. So rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, and then we blast off, right? Same thing here. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, and that's usually when we go. The same kind of thing sort of happened with Ethereum here, where you had a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, right? You went sideways, and then you continue to break out. So my understanding is XRP is somewhere in here. I mean, it could even be more over here. I don't know. But it looks like it's getting close to me for at least a bigger retracement, if not a bigger breakout. So speaking of Ethereum, I know I don't really do Ethereum on this channel. Um, it is very important asset and it is pumping. Let's pull up the Fibonacci. I mean, it does look very bullish too, but it also looks like it could be a diagonal. Let's see where we are first with the Fibonacci here. Haven't looked at Ethereum. So we still have plenty of room to the upside. So this is good. So think of Bitcoin as the captain, right? And then think of Ethereum as the lieutenant, right? So the lieutenant, commands the lower ranks below, but it basically leads the charge for the alts too. So if Ethereum has more wiggle room, right? And to me, the wiggle room is between 39.90 right up in here. So somewhere in there. So I still believe that Ethereum has, more potential upside, right? To go. So we can see a pullback, maybe hit the bull market support band again, because again, Bitcoin or Ethereum hasn't hit it, right? You could see here, looks very similar to Bitcoin. So if we come up and we tag it, and then we hit that one more final wave up here, and then we start to go in a little bit of distribution, right? So to me, that would be like an A, B, and a C, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, some people can say, well, if this whole thing is a B wave, then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're getting up to finish 5. So instead of getting this pullback, we just kind of keep grinding our way up to here, right? So then in other words, it would be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I'm sorry, an A, B, and then a C. But I don't think that's happening. I think what's happening is sort of similar to what's happened before, which is a rise, crash, retrace. We haven't fully hit the retrace yet. And then we kind of go down into reaccumulation. Then we go sideways, and then we break out. So something like that is my sort of my middle ground of where I'm thinking it's going to go. Now, obviously, it could go sideways a bit and continue breaking out into a new all-time high, and I would love it, and that would be great. Or it can be worse, A, B, and we go down for C. So boom, boom, boom. I'm thinking somewhere in the middle. You got to meet me in the middle here, at least until it gets proven wrong, right? So, so we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But when I look at Ethereum, it does look pretty bullish. I mean, you can say that this is a triangle here, something like that, an ascending triangle, right? So if I take the measured move from that triangle, I'm going to take it from here to that point there, right about there, and I'm going to put that right there. So that's still got plenty of room to go. What is that? That's at 4,300. So that basically takes out all the retracement levels. So if we can hit this measured move from this triangle, then we don't have to go through rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. But check it out. That's getting above the 786. So will it happen? I don't know. We'll have to see. But it looks bullish, right? I mean, we have this triangle. We coiled up. We broke out. Maybe we come back to back test the triangle. Then we continue higher. A lot of different ways it can happen. So where it is right now is crossing the 50. So let's go back to XRP. And I'll put the retrace, or the fib retracement here, and it got to, where did it get to? It also crossed the 50. So look at that right here. It crossed the 50, but it couldn't get to the 618. Is that what's happening with Ethereum? Maybe, right? Look at XRP. It never hit the 618, let alone 702, 786. But then also it didn't create a bullish ascending triangle either. It was more of like a trashy, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's an ABC. So it was clear, right? There was no bullish lead-in phase, right? Like Ethereum had. But here's the cool thing about XRP. The fact that it never broke out was a good thing. Why? Because now it went into reaccumulation, right? And now it's going sideways, which tells me, hey, this thing has a very good chance at completing its entire phase. Because look, if I let me take all that off. Look how, I mean, this thing is huge. This thing is huge. It starts from here all the way to here. That's a big range. That is the biggest range of all. Just to put that in perspective, if I put it right about there to where we are now, right? That's almost 2,500 days. Almost. About 2,500, 2,460, give or take, right? So we'll just round it up, say 2,500 days. That's a lot of time for something to brew, right? So that thing's going to be a pretty mighty, strong cup of coffee, if you ask me. And it's not like it's dead, because a lot of people say, oh, it's dead, it's not doing anything. If it was dead, it wouldn't hold above its base, right? This is when it was a baby. It broke out, and the fact, to me, it's so bullish that it didn't it didn't even come back down here to back test. So it didn't even wick off of that. Instead, it sort of hovered around. So here's your base, here's your markup, right? And now you're consolidating at the top. So if you take this whole thing and say, okay, this whole thing is one big movement right here. Then you can say right here is its first base, right? Up here, it's consolidating, the price is consolidating at the top, not down here, or not even in the middle. It's consolidating at the top, right? So if you say this is the top, this is the bottom, and that's about the middle. Where is it consolidating at? It's consolidating at the top. Not down here, not in the middle, at the top. That's bullish. And not only that, it's been consolidating at the top for how many years? Not only that, the longer it consolidates at the top, the more likely you are to eventually break out, right? Now you got to give XRP a little credit there, but you also got to give it a little slack because it's been persecuted and relentlessly attacked by these corrupt regulators trying to undermine crypto. And when they attack XRP, even if you hate XRP, you still want it's still not a good thing because they are attacking all crypto. The case against Ripple is going to be the precedent that gets set for all crypto. So if you think your crypto is safe, think again, right? If your favorite, whatever your favorite crypto is, if Ripple got attacked, if Coinbase can get attacked, depending on what happens in these court cases, will set the precedent for your favorite coin. And that's a big deal. That's why if I hated Ripple and XRP, I would still want them to win because it would set a precedent for my coin to have, the guidelines between the SEC versus Ripple will be, like I said, setting a precedent for the next coins to come. Now, granted, a lot of coins are, in fact, securities. But at the same time, right, a lot of them are not, like Ripple and XRP. So I don't want to get all into that, but I'm just saying, if you're an XRP hater, I still respect you. I respect you. I get it. But for me, I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to take the risk because it looks like we're in a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. So it would be foolish for me to ignore that, right? So, okay, that's done for XRP. Now, zooming in here, what we want to see is just like what HBAR did, is at least break above here, right? Because let me take everything off first. This was our range, or this was our resistance, and we did break above it, right? But then we came back below. Then we broke above again. Then we came back in it. So it's sort of like, this is a critical area here, right in that 50-cent area, right? So what we really want to see is this get taken out right down in here. At least get that taken out. So basically the order of business is to get back above the bull market, above the bull market support band, and get above this. But before that happens, we can see, right, given the fact that we had the Judge Torres ruling right here, that constitutes as a fifth wave to me in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then we have an A, B, and now we're probably getting C. Then we can go, or rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. We go sideways for a bit, and then we go. So, either way. But what we don't want to see is breaking above 35, 34 cents. And even, I would say between 30 and 40 cents, we want to stay above that. Well, let me see here. Let me actually, it is a pretty massive wave. So if I do this and I come back up here, that is pretty big. So I would say about 39 cents would be the C wave, up to 35 cents. Right? Definitely don't want 24 1-to-1. That wouldn't be a C wave anymore. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, I'm pretty bullish on it. Why? Because, you know, not looking at XRP, when you look at like the price of Theta, right? If you look at the price of, if you look at the price of H bar, right? You can start to see, you know, we're starting to get out of here, right? And now I've talked about Theta. I won't get into it too much. But essentially, my idea here is we did get a pullback, which is fine. Let me go to the 16-hour chart, just zoom in. Obviously, I've said, we can either be an A, B, C, then we can go. It can be a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, then go, right? Where we can continue to test the band, which is sort of my favorite idea at the moment. Or we can have a little pullback and then a continuation to the upside, which would be awesome. That would be my favorite thing to happen, actually. Either way, if it's an ABC, then up. If it's a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, then up. Or if it's a up, up, up. They're all pointing up. The difference is time. So we'll wait and see on that. Now, when I go to the total 3, which is the most important chart for the altcoins, you can see that, actually, let me zoom out. You can see that we had a clear breakout above its resistance right in here, right? And it completed the Wyckoff accumulation pattern. We broke out, and now we're starting to rise. So that's a good thing. So maybe Theta doesn't have to go into an ABC. Maybe it doesn't even have to go into reaccumulation. Maybe it's going to continue pumping with it just after a small pullback. That would be great, right? Because like I said, the alts don't have that much time. If Bitcoin's going to go ranging into accumulation range, yeah, we do have plenty of time. But if it's going to go into a distribution range, then go down into reaccumulation, then that means we don't have all the time in the world, and we better get going here. And what I would like to see, right, is for XRP, Theta, right, the coins I'm holding, and more than that too, other ones, Casper. I want to see them get back into the retracement levels before this guy does. So this guy is not even at its 382. So it's still got, let's see, if I put the measurement on, we still got about another 60% wiggle room to the upside. So, the coins that we hold better get going. Let's look at Theta Fuel. Now, Theta Fuel looks really good. And the reason I say that is because it's just, it broke below the bull market support band, but that's okay. It quickly recovered. So basically, its little area is right in here. Right? So what we want to see is the same thing that happened to the total 3. 1, 2, we get up here. Maybe we chill out a little bit. Then we come back up. So that's what I'm thinking. Right? Now, this can turn, like I said, with the same thing with Theta. It can turn into an A, B, C, then up, or rise, crash, reaccumulation, then up. Either way, I think we're going to get back up here, consolidate, then continue higher. Just like how Chainlink did. Right? And just like how HBAR is doing now. So I don't do like thousands of different alts and things. I kind of keep my window a little bit narrow. I should broaden the horizon a bit, but I haven't looked at VeChain in a while. Maybe I'll look at that one too soon. So yeah, same thing here. We broke out and we continued high, and XRP's down here, Theta's down here, HBAR starting to break out. Theta Fuel's down here. So they all have room to go higher, right? Except, XRP's looks a little wonky, right? It looks like this. So, and then it also, right, potentially an ascending triangle. The problem with that is it already broke out and met its measured move and then came back in. So I'm just going to leave that there and see if it can break out of there soon. XLM is same exact story with XRP. You won't get into that. It's the same thing. Same exact thing. Matic. You can see Matic here came up to the 50, right? And then it came back down. But it also, to me, looks like Wyckoff accumulation, kind of, sort of. I like this spring phase in here, this low, this higher low. So what I would like to see with Matic is come up here, consolidate, then continue higher. And if it can get past that, then off to the races. But yeah, it looks bullish at the moment. That doesn't mean there won't be pullbacks. If I zoom in to the 12-hour, it looks like it needs, see how choppy it is? See how it's like all these candles in here, little indecisive? So maybe we get something like this, where you have this, we cup into the resistance, maybe we get another cup, maybe we retest that bull market support band, continue higher. Right? Worst case scenario, A, B, C, then continue higher. Solana, same thing. Solana's pretty extended. I mean, to me, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, or a 1, 2, all of that's 3, 4, and now we're going into 5. Really hard to say at the moment. Looks extended. I wouldn't want to get into that one. ADA. ADA definitely has plenty of room to go up. It was one of the bigger bull run coins, so I expect a big retracement as well. I mean, look at this. It's like Theta, but it's, a little bit more broken out here. If I put that right there, you can see here, look at that. We cup into the resistance. Cupping in, we broke out of the resistance, we back tested it, and now we're starting to go higher. So I'm expecting a retrace. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But, and the reason, and you can say, well, what about Bitcoin? And again, over and over, if Bitcoin is at its retracement levels, then what we want for Bitcoin to do, for the alts to catch up, is simply just chop sideways. If it can chop sideways, now that doesn't mean sideways completely. It can drop 20%, then go sideways, then go back up another 30%, then goes down 10%, then up 15%. It's just ranging, chopping, right? That allows rotations, and that allows alts to catch up. Casper, I haven't looked at Casper in a while. Now, this is kind of a flyer. I don't, not financial advice. Anything I say is not financial advice. This is one of my lower cap coins. I guess you could say gem. It could be a failure. It could be a beautiful success. Kevin Cage, I definitely recommend watching his YouTube channel, Kevin Cage. Type in Kevin Cage, Casper. And he's got a lot of videos way more advanced than my understanding of it. But I love what he had to say about it, and I was looking at it as well. So it definitely looks interesting. As far as the price, price action is a little boring. But again, what do we see happening here? We see sideways, right? So that's good. We come down. As we're going down, now we're going sideways. That tells me we're probably in accumulation. So, just waiting for that breakout, right? So this could either be Wyckoff here with a spring, and now an impulse, a pullback, a deep pullback. I didn't like how deep that pullback was, but it's okay. So if we can get back up here, chill out a little bit, consolidate above this high, then we can start chopping up that high, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if that plays. If not, A, B, C, then go. If not that, then 1, 2, or I'm sorry, I should say A, B, C, then go. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Filecoin. I mean, Filecoin looks really good. It's definitely right at the top of its area here. It looks like a perfect Wyckoff. Boom, 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 boom. Here's your Wyckoff right there, your markup. We just need to get that breakout, just like how H-bar got that breakout. Maybe a little chop in here, then continue higher. So we'll see how that works. IOTA. Man, I haven't looked at IOTA in a long time. Take that off. Let's see what's going on with IOTA. Now, IOTA is similar to XRP, but it's definitely more at the bottom end of the situation. But it does look like it could potentially get going here pretty soon. If I pull that down here, look at that. It's got a lot of room until it gets into its retracement levels. It broke above the bull market support band. It back tested it. It broke above this resistance in here, right? It broke above this resistance right here. So let's see how that continues to go. Zcash. I don't even know why I have this one on here. It's total disaster. Looks terrible, to be honest with you. But, you know, even the terrible coins have these pops to the upside, right? Drizzle, 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 pop. Drizzle, 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 pop. Probably, you know, because privacy coins, do people actually care about privacy coins? I guess they do. Like Monero would probably be better, right? You have Zcash. The only utility value is privacy, but at the same time, it's like, you know, unless you're like selling people's organs, do you really need that much? I don't know. I'm not an expert on privacy coins. I just don't really get it. But I can totally get it if I lived like in China, or I lived somewhere in North Korea, or who knows, somewhere that, you know, you want extreme privacy. And I respect freedom and privacy, and I think the government should just stay out of people's way, right? It's all about freedom for me, and just because I don't really care about privacy coins doesn't mean others don't. Now, Algorand. This is also in the XRP HBAR XLM community. Look at this. Algorand was had a terrible bear market. It took out the COVID low. Now, not that many have done that, but that could also be a good thing, because that if it took out the COVID low, then that means it has a lot of potential to the upside, right? So what I like about Algorand is we found a bottom. We impulse to the upside. We back tested the bull market support band, and we're continuing to potentially rocket to the upside. Now, the interesting part is we do have a lot of resistance here and here. And now the interesting thing is here, look at this. You have a massive inverse head and shoulders. You have a shoulder, and you have a massive head and another potential shoulder. Let's check out what that measured move would be on here. So if I take this, I'll put it right about there, come back right about there. I'm not trying to be extremely accurate, just trying to get a ballpark. 80 cents. So what's that move from here? That's about 300%. That's a massive move, right? 300%. Not bad, not bad at all. So that's a potential play, a setup there. So let's see. I would just wait for this to figure out, because here's the thing. And that's all the coins. The big thing is this. Is this a B wave or the beginning of wave 3? If it's a B wave, it's a lot of times it's what? It is a trap, right? So it's an A, B, and then we go C, or rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout, or continue higher. It's the same story, right? It's the same story with all of them. Tron, and yes, I'm going to go over an hour. Hopefully the algorithm doesn't kick me in the butt too hard for going over an hour. Hopefully people still watch just because it is over an hour, right? Yeah, I mean, you don't have to watch the whole thing. But when I look at Tron, or better yet, speed up the video, what do you see? I see something so bullish. Look at this. It looks like a massive. What do you see? First of all, I see a massive cup and a handle. Second of all, I see a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. I mean, this thing looks freaking primed for a massive breakout. And I'm not just saying that, right? I don't even care about Tron. I'm not a Tron fan, but I know, a lot of people use that blockchain to send USDT. So, and in order to send USDT, you need Tron, right? You can send it through the Binance. I think it's BEP20 or TRX USD, right? USDT. So I've used Tron a lot when sending Tether because of I'm not going to send it over Ethereum. It's too expensive. And that's why I think Ethereum is just a failure. So we'll see. But if I had to figure this out, I would think that this is probably a 2, 3, and then we have a triangle for wave 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're potentially going up into wave 5. Okay, Elon, if you're watching, this is for you, buddy. How's it going? So here we got Dodge. I was gonna say Tesla. Here we got Dogecoin. Does he like Tesla because it sounds like Dodge? Or not sure. We have a breakout, obviously, of this trend line. If I go even further, you have another breakout, right? But that's not really expert TA. To me, we've been going sideways for some time. So either this is going to turn into a bigger sort of XRP type of thing where we have a rise crash and we go into a retracement, then we come down and go into another grueling time, kind of like what XRP did. I think it's here. So you could see how XRP did that. It went all the way down and then it went sideways for a while. And it looked like, okay, I found a base and then it's going to go. But it was only a retracement and then continue down. So that could be what's happening with Dogecoin. Would I buy Dogecoin? No. I don't think there's enough value for me. To me, I feel like Dogecoin's run is the biggest percentage is already out of it, right? So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's done. AB is probably ABC, right? I think XRP is in over here. XRP is here and it's waiting for this big thing here. I mean, it looks clear as day to me. If you look at Dogecoin compared to XRP, I mean, look at this. Right? You have this move to the upside, this little retracement here, this sideways, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, and a massive breakout. Same thing that happened here, just much, much bigger, right? So, same thing with Dogecoin, right? It had this big, big move to the upside. So we'll see if that plays out. Pepe is just too early. I mean, it looks starting to look bullish. You have this big impulse, which is good. I wish you had a base here, but you don't. You have a big impulse. You have a shoulder. You have a head, and now you potentially have another shoulder. It's so young that the bull market support band is tiny. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. But you had an impulse. You had an A, B, C, right? 1, A, B, C. And then now you have a 1, 2. We could be going into 3, 4, 5, right? Something like that. Or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then go. So W, X, Y. So it really depends. You have to wait and see. You have an impulse. You have this sort of little bull flag here. We'll see how that plays. XRP versus Ethereum is a total disaster. I mean, this thing is just dying big time. So hopefully that'll turn around soon. And maybe that, a lot of times it needs to do that. So you see this trend line here? The price bounces off the trend line. It takes out that trend line. It grabs that liquidity and then it goes. But the thing is, Ethereum's pumping hard, right? So I'll give you an example here. Come on. Here's an example here with XRP. If I have a little trend line right here, right? And you can see bounce, 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 and then it crashes. Everybody gets super bearish, but it's just grabbing liquidity to go much, much higher. So when I look back at XRP ETH, that kind of reminds me of something like that happening, where you get that final bounce and everybody just throws the towel in, and then quick reversal. So I missed this coin, SCI. I was looking at it right down in here. I'm like, it's too early for me. But man, look at that. I missed it. That was a big run too. I was looking at this little area right in here. It was just listed on an exchange that I had. And man, that sucks. Hex. I think this is just there's a love-hate relationship with Hex. A lot of people say it's great. A lot of people say it's a scam. But I don't really like the guy who created it. I mean, he seems very smart, but he just seems a little shady to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? It does look pretty decent. You have this A, B, C, maybe. You have this. It's holding the bull market support band. Just need more data. Just need more data. And there's not enough sideways action. To me it looks like it needs to do this. It needs to go sideways and develop a bottom, then go. Right? Amazon. I mean, look at this thing. This is just nuts. All the way up. Where's it going? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm not going to even attempt to try to figure that out. Looks like the Bitcoin run up where it comes down has this three-way move, grab the liquidity down, or it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hard to say. I'm not sure what this one is. API 3. Bitcoin Cash. It is holding the bull market support band. It's got a big impulse and it's holding above the bull market. That's good. And not just for Bitcoin Cash, but for your altcoin too. I mean, if it's all about restoring sentiment and confidence back in the market, regardless if you hate the coin or not, you want to see it do well because it's all about sentiment and confidence. BNB. BNB is also attempting to break above its range right in here. So once we break above that, it looks pretty good. You have this Wyckoff here, this spring, this bottom right in here, right? Same type of thing. So it looks pretty good. You also have this break above this area here. I mean, I guess you could say it looks like a little falling wedge type of thing, maybe, depending how you look at it. I don't know. I think it's just the same story with all the coins, which all leads back to Bitcoin. And to me, it's like, well, if Bitcoin's going to keep going, great. If Bitcoin goes sideways, even better, and then goes, that's the best case scenario, because then this sideways move allows alts to catch up. But if we go down and if we go sideways, then go down and sideways, then basically what that tells me is most coins are just going to go into a retracement, like Doge. It'll just go up, consolidate, then go in a retracement, then go. Something like that. So we'll see. DXY, still chilling, still consolidating. Hopefully this turns into a shoulder, a head, and another shoulder, and we can just go down, right? Or A and then a B. So A, B, C. So A, B, and then we go down for C. That could totally happen. EGLD. Rapid fire. I told you I'm looking at a lot of altcoins today, so just rapid fire. Same thing like Theta. Same thing. You have this move up, this move down, this Wyckoff, took out the low, come back, impulse, back test the bull market support band, looking for an ABC and continuation. It's all the same. That's why I don't, that's the thing. That's why I don't really look at all the altcoins. There's no reason. They all look the same, except for some of them, like XRP, looks totally different, right? Which heightens my curiosity. This one looks a lot like Theta Fuel. So something like that, right? Same type of thing. Engine coin has this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This impulse to the upside. This drizzle down. This impulse. Back test the bull market support band. Let's go. Ethereum Classic. Oh boy. Same. It does definitely look different. To me, it looks like you broke out, you back tested the bull market support band. Let's see if we can get back to the retracement levels. I think a lot of these coins are going to head up soon into the retracement levels. Then once they get there, then that's the big question. ETH BTC. It's very hard to know because if I take all that off, did it take out the low? It did. So this is not a 1-2 anymore. It could be an A, B, and a C, and then a down, like a flat. It could be like that. That could be what's happening here is a flat. We are getting a little bit of a bottom here. I think this thing's going to start heading up a little bit. The reason why I say that is because Bitcoin's already at its retracement levels. Ethereum still has a long way to go into its retracement levels. So I feel like this thing is going to break out. So what I would do is I would take this line and I would put it right there. And I would just sort of wait and see. It maybe a pullback, maybe a little sideways, pull up, and then eventually, get back up here. That could be a strong possibility. If we start dumping, and if Ethereum's already completed, right? Because remember, XRP only hit its 50. So if Ethereum only hit its 50, then this can continue to go down. So I think that's it for me. That looks pretty bad. I mean, obviously it's good, right? We broke out, but look, we have a 1, 2. No, I'm sorry. That actually looks good. That actually looks good. I was gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's not right. To me, it looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then come back for ABC. Then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're probably in the middle of the third. And look at this. It actually broke out. It's attempting to break out into a new all-time high. Fetch.Ai, huh? I missed that one too. I know AI is just the big thing, right? I think SEI is let's actually go to the weekly chart here. Let's see if it broke out. It did break out, but did it close? Not yet. So this could be a big thing here. Let's see. If I put that, nope, it hasn't broke. So look at this. In 5 days, fetch.Ai has officially broken out into a new all-time high and closed above on a weekly scale. This could be a big move coming up here for fetch. Why? Because it broke out. It's officially no resistance. Obviously, you got this little resistance here, right? But it's just a wick. So I'll put a dotted line there. So if we can break out of there, if we can close above that this week, close above these closes, we could see something huge. We could see something big, right? And what is this? This also kind of looks like maybe a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder, right? Let's see what that measure move would be here. If I put that right there, and I put that right there, and I'll put that right there. Not too bad. About $3. It is on log scale, so it is a little deceiving. But from here we have another 175% to go. But honestly, what I would do is I would put this here, the Fibbo on here, and I would say the 1618 for sure. And look at that. That hit the 1272, right? So anywhere in here is a good possibility, right? And then, by the way, this is the third wave. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If this is a 1, 2, oftentimes wave 3s are massive. If I put this on regular scale and I take all of this off, now it starts to look different, huh? It looks actually even more bullish, honestly, because you have a 1, 2, 1, 2. This thing looks like it wants to rip. So, yeah, it looks pretty bullish. I didn't even look at these charts either. I'm just sort of scanning through them just to kind of like a live video, just doing it live with everybody. Flare. Oh man, is it dead or what? I took part of the Flare airdrop and I knew that was going to happen. It was just going to totally die. I don't think it's going to die forever. I think it's just got to go through its cycle. Eventually it'll go back up. There's no way for me to read that. Obviously, there's not enough data. It can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up or down. Phantom. Phantom. What is happening with Phantom? Wow. Same thing. Same thing like all the rest. You had this Wyckoff here, breakout, back test the bull market support band, waiting for a retracement. Same thing. Gold to silver ratio. I'm not going to look at that. I think silver is the best. If you're going to buy gold or silver, I would buy silver. Not financial advice, but silver is the way to go for me. Kava. Could be better. Could be better. Kyber network. Could be better too. You can see my old drawings here. Let's come down here. Oh, to back test this area here. But we hovered around, so if that's the case, maybe we come back up here. Litecoin. I think this will be the last one. Okay, I'll do Litecoin, then QNT, and that's it. So Litecoin, QNT. So I had a contracting triangle here. That could be what's happening. Maybe, maybe not. And that would make sense if it was the same, because it would be sort of rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. All of this is sideways, breakout. Right? Litecoin needs to prove itself. It looks depressing. So ABC. Okay, so ABC, 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 right? So, or WXY. It looks like it's just I wouldn't even touch it. There's no clear direction. It looks like XRP when before, so it does look like it has the potential, because look at rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. So it looks like it needs to go sideways for some time. Then once you establish a better base in here, then you can get a better idea of it going higher. QNT. QNT looked good. Yeah, it's above the bull market support band. That's good. It looks like it wants to retrace. It hit the 50, hit the 50%, right? What could be happening here? Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. That could be what's happening. You have a nice base in here, right here, right? Let's see if we can get a little momentum here. I'd like to see it break above at least 134. So 134 has me very interested. So there you go, guys. That's it. I did a lot of altcoins. Appreciate you guys again. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of do a little something different instead of looking at the same coins over and over. Just kind of want to do a rapid fire of the various other coins. So if your coin didn't get shown on the chart, comment below, and maybe next time I do a rapid fire, I think I'll do a new series, rapid fire. Just go one after another and just, look at it objectively. And, because a lot of these coins I don't even hold, right? So there's no reason for me to have a bullish bias or a bearish bias. So not that goes into account for me, because I'm mostly conservative to begin with anyways. But at the same time, you can read it more objectively if you don't own the asset. Because like for me, I want XRP to do well. So sometimes your eyes make yourself see things that maybe aren't there, right? But at the same time, you got to know what you hold, and you got to know sort of where you are in these markets. So I think that will do it for me today. It's raining over at my house. We had a nice sunny weekend, but now it's just rain again. It's interesting because we're in Southern California, so we don't get too much rain, but it's good to have rain. It's always good to have rain. It just sucks when you have dogs, because you gotta let the dog out, and then you have to wipe their feet off, and then they get wet, and then they shake, and then they get the mud on the rug, and it's a little inconvenient, but it's okay. That's what we do for our pets at the end of the day, right? I will catch you guys on the next one. If you can, please, if you have it in you, you can give me a like and a subscribe and a comment. I'd really appreciate that, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.